You always say he locked down the whole league. But he played 15 years and won 6 titles. So those other 9, somebody won.
LeBron's played
somebody
18
won, but
and
those
won
years
4.
don't count.
All right, old school NBA fans, self-research, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. In this video here, something Nick Wright said.
We pretend Jordan's career was 6 years long. Everyone ate on Michael's watch. We just pretend it didn't happen. Can we show guys who won rings in years Michael Jordan played? Well, Larry won, Kareem won, Magic won, Isaiah won, Hakeem won, Drexler won, Shaq won, Kobe won, David Robinson, Tim Duncan won. I'm not even including the years Michael retired. Those are only years Michael Jordan played basketball. Because I would agree that if we are deciding the only years of Jordan's career that count are the years he won championships, well, that's a hell of a resume. But that's not how this works. You can't get the points you scored the other years, the MVPs you won the other years, the Defensive Player of the Year you won the other years, but then say, but nobody ate. Nobody ate.
He really loves to stress on those years against the Wizards and those early years on the Bulls, say 85, 86, 87. He loves to talk about that stuff. No context about anything else, just that he was some sort of a loser without Scottie Pippen. That's what it's all about. Well, why don't we take a look at every top 75 player, all of them, and let's see how many non-championship seasons they had and the percentage of them. Instead of just a number, how about the percentage as well? You're only going to hear a handful of players that are 60% or under. I didn't include players who played less than half of a season. Obviously, that's ridiculous. Or they got injured and couldn't have a playoff run. So here we go again. Top 75 players. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played 20 seasons. Obviously, he won 6 championships, but he had 14 non-championship seasons. Does anybody ever talk about that? That's a lot of non-championship seasons. 70%, which actually not that bad compared to all these other players. Most of them are 90 to 100%. Ray Allen played 18 seasons, 16 non-championship, 88.8%. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's played 12 seasons. 11 of them, he didn't win the championship. I excluded this last year when he was injured. Carmelo Anthony, he's a perfect 16 seasons, 16 no championship, 100%. Tiny Archibald, 11 out of 12 for 91.6%. Paul Arizin, 9 out of 10 since he only won 1 championship, 90%. Charles Barkley, 15 for 15, 100%. Rick Barry, 12 out of 13. He only won 1 championship. I did not count the ABA, 92.3%. Elgin Baylor, 12 for 12, 100. Dave Bing, 11 for 11, 100. Larry Bird, 9 out of 12 seasons, not counting 1989 where he only played 6 games, 75%. That's pretty good. So far, him and Kareem are the lowest. Kobe Bryant, 11 out of 16 seasons, and I also didn't count seasons where players were not a starter, like Robert Parrish on the Bulls, like Kobe Bryant in 97 and 98. Even one of those years for Carmelo Anthony, I think he was on the Lakers and Portland maybe, didn't count those seasons because he wasn't a starter. Kobe's 11 out of 16, 68.8%, which is actually a pretty good percentage. This has nothing to do with who's the best player, second best player, none of that. Just you either won the championship or you lost. That's all this is, to expose Nick Wright's idiocy about his stupid takes and how it's going to backfire on his boy. Wilt Chamberlain, 14 seasons, 12 of them were non-championship. That's 85.7%. Now here we're going to get into the group of guys, the Celtics of the 60s. That's going to be the majority of these guys that are going to be 60% or under. Hardly anybody else is of the top 75 players. Bob Cousy played 13 seasons, 7. He didn't win the championship, 53.8%. Obviously, that's the best on the list so far. Dave Cowens, he's 8 out of 10 for 80%. Billy Cunningham played 9 seasons, 8 of them he didn't win anything, 88.8%. Steph Curry even, 14 seasons, 10 of them were non-championship seasons. That's 71.4%. Anthony Davis, 11 out of 12, 91.6. Dave DeBusschere, 9 out of 11, 81.8. Clyde Drexler, 12 out of 13, 92.3. Tim Duncan, 13 out of 18 seasons. I did not count 2000 because he got injured. He had 13 seasons where he did not win a championship. When you say it like that, it sounds bad, right? Even though the guy won 5, 72.2%. That's definitely going to be in the lower 15, 20 players. Kevin Durant, 13 out of 15, 86.7%. Dr. J, I got 13 out of 16 on him. I guess I did include the ABA, but even still, 81.3%. Patrick Ewing, never won a championship, 15 for 15 for 100%. Walt Frazier, 9 out of 11, 81.8. Kevin Garnett, 18 out of 19, 94.7% of the time he did not win a championship. Hal Greer, 13 out of 14, 92.9. James Harden never won a championship in 13 full starter seasons, 100%. Here's another one of those Celtics, John Havlicek, 8 out of 16 for 50%. That's the lowest we've seen so far. So only Bob Cousy and John Havlicek are 60% or lower. 2 players out of about 30. Allen Iverson never won a championship, 13 for 13, 100%. LeBron James, 22 seasons, 18 of them, he did not win a championship. 81.8. Just like all these other guys. He's just a guy. Nothing spectacular about that. In fact, that number 18, if he loses next year, that will be among the most of all time non-championship seasons. That will be among the most ever. People talk about the missed field goals and the turnovers and the finals losses. What about non-championship seasons? We're going to go through them all. Magic Johnson, 8 out of 13 seasons. He did not win it. 61.5%. That's excellent. Sam Jones, 9 seasons as a starter. Only 1 did not win it. That would have been 1967. 11.1% of the time he did not win it. That's really nuts. Michael Jordan, 9 out of 15 seasons, he did not win the championship. 60%. It's one of the best on here. Jason Kidd, 18 out of 19 for 94.7. Kawhi Leonard, 10 out of 12, he did not win it. 83.3. Damian Lillard, a perfect 12 out of 12. Jerry Lucas, 9 out of 10, 90%. Karl Malone, 19 for 19. That is the most on this list. 100%. So LeBron loses this year, does not win a championship, he will tie that. And if he loses a year after that, if he decides to keep playing, that'll be 20 seasons of non-championships, assuming he doesn't win the next 2 years. Moses Malone, 16 out of 17, 94.1. Maravich and McAdoo, neither one won a championship. They're at 100%. Kevin McHale, 9 out of 11 as a starter. In 81, he wasn't a starter, even though I could have gave it to him. I didn't. 81.8. George Mikan, only 1 season as a starter. He only had 6. He won 5 of them. 16.7. That's amazing. Reggie Miller, 17 for 17, 100%. Earl the Pearl Monroe, he only won 1. He's at 90.9. Steve Nash, 100%. Dirk Nowitzki, here's another guy. I forgot about him. 19 out of 20 seasons, did not win a championship. 95%. Hakeem Olajuwon, 15 out of 17, 88.2. Shaq, 14 out of 18 for 77.8. It's actually in the bottom half, not bad. Robert Parrish, 14 out of 17 for 82.4%. Chris Paul, 19 for 19, 100%. If he loses this year, that'll be the most non-championship seasons of all time. That's 20, assuming he's playing. Gary Payton, 15 out of 16, 93.8. Bob Pettit, 10 out of 11, 90.9. Paul Pierce, 17 out of 18, 94.4. You get the picture. Scottie Pippen, the exact same as Michael Jordan, 9 out of 15 for 60%. He wasn't a starter in 88. I think he stopped being a starter after 03. He had 15 seasons as a starter, 9 years of not winning it. So that's 60%, same as Jordan. Willis Reed, 8 out of 10. He didn't win it. That's 80%. Oscar Robertson, 13 out of 14 seasons, 92.9. David Robinson, 11 out of 13, 84.6. Dennis Rodman, one of the best ones on here, 6 out of 11. As a starter, he only didn't win the championship 6 times. Out of 11 seasons as a starter, 54.5%. Again, who's he attached to? Jordan. Him and Pippen are both attached to Jordan. Those three, the 60 Celtics and George Mikan, they're the only players at 60% or under. That's it. Bill Russell, 2 seasons out of 13 for 15.4%. And you could argue 1958, but I didn't bother doing that. Dolph Shays only won 1 championship, so he's at 92.9. Bill Sharman won 4. He's at 63.6, one of the lower ones. He's a Celtic. John Stockton, as a starter, because he didn't start his first 3 years. That's right, 16 for 16, 100%. Isaiah Thomas, 11 out of 13, 84.6. Nate Thurman, never won a championship, 100%. Wes Unseld, 12 out of 13, 92.3. Dwayne Wade, 11 out of 14, 78.6%. Bill Walton, 4 playoff runs. 3 of them he didn't win it though, 75%. Jerry West, 12 out of 13, 92.3. 1 year he didn't get a play in the playoffs, but I think 1 game or something. Russell Westbrook, a perfect 100%, 14 for 14. Then you got Lenny Wilkins, who never won a championship, and Dominique Wilkins, both 13 seasons as a starter, 100%. James Worthy, pretty good actually. 7 seasons he didn't win it. That's 70% of the time. So there's all the top 75 players. Nick writes, that stupid big-nosed fool. How many players were at 60% or under? Or even just say under 70%. Here's who they were. Under 70. You got Kobe Bryant, Bob Cousy, John Havlicek, Magic Johnson, Sam Jones, Michael Jordan, George Mikan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Bill Russell, Bill Sharman, and that's it. Out of 76 players, 11 were under 70% of their seasons were non-championship seasons. How foolish does somebody got to be? LeBron James is at 81.8% of his 22 seasons, only 4 were championship. He had 18 seasons where he did not win the championship. That's the most idiotic take you're ever going to hear. So easy not only to debunk, but now we're talking about if you don't win a championship, you're a failure? He just can't get around those 6 championships being three-peats. There's no way around it. So he's going to talk about the other 9 seasons where he didn't win the championship. That's how much of a joke this guy is. 11 top 76 players of all time were under 70%. And Jordan is about 7th or 8th on that list. It's moronic and foolish. At some point, you're just going to have to accept the facts. If you have to bring up when Michael Jordan had a losing record, that he didn't win very many games. He won 1 game out of 10 his first 3 playoff rounds. His first 10 playoff games, he won 1 game. Regardless that those 3 teams won 59 games or more and Michael Jordan won 40 or less, that doesn't matter. If Michael Jordan wins any one of those series, it would have been one of the 3 biggest upsets in NBA history. That's how moronic this guy is. When Jordan is on the Wizards, he loves talking about that too. Does he ever bring up Jordan's knee injury? How good they were doing before he got hurt? How they were in line to get a top 4 seed? It was no joke. Michael Jordan was one of 2 players at the All-Star break to average 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds a game. It was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant in 2002. That's it. But he was not the same player after the knee injury. he was getting better and better and better. You listen to some of the players, they tell you, they say Jordan was a legitimate all-star, probably all NBA level player. If his knee doesn't get hurt, he's making all NBA. And I believe it. The numbers bear that out. But he kept playing on a bad knee, and it brought his numbers down. Now, he still ended up averaging 23 points a game, but his field goal percentage and all that, everything just came down. And yeah, they only won 37 games. But come on, man. The guy is 39 years old on a bad knee with one of the worst rosters any superstar has ever played with. LeBron James has never played with a roster that bad. Never. Just straight up bums. Richard Hamilton was a nice player, but he was always hurt. They only played, I want to say like 15 or 20 games together at the same time, and it was some ridiculous record. I want to say it was like 13-3 when both of them were on the court. I'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Another idiotic take from the lead fool. If it's not him, it's Shannon Sharp or Kendrick Perkins, one of the lead fools. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I give daily content, and that's it. Until next time.